Welcome back. We're going to continue to work on Unit 4 review, Part 1, adding and subtracting fractions. And now we're flipping over to the last part on the back side, line plots. Now line plots are a lot of fun, however, they do take a little bit of time in order to solve them. We're going to be looking specifically at the very first question because that's the one that's really going to take the time. The other one is just simple subtraction. So when I look at this, it says, 2 more ribbons are added to the line plot above. Now the total length is 200 inches. What are 2 possible lengths of the added ribbon? So the very first thing I need to do is I need to figure out, well, how much ribbon do I already have? So I'm going to begin by adding all of my data points together. So first of all, I need to figure out, well, what do each of these data points represent? And I can see that it's divided into 1, 2, 3, 4 equal parts, which means each of these marks represents the unit fraction of fourths. So 1/4, 2/4, 3/4, the next whole. So my very first one, I have 21 1/4 plus, and again I'm still at 21, but now I'm at 2/4 and I'm going to add it 2 times. So 21 2/4 plus 21 2/4 plus, and now moving on, let's see, I'm at 22 1/4, 2/4, and I'm going to add it 2 times, 22 2/4 plus 22 2/4 plus, okay, moving on, now I'm at 23 1/4 plus 23 1 2 3/4, 23 3/4. So the very first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to add up all my numerators, and what I recommend to the students is that when I'm doing this, that I mark them off as I'm adding them and I go back and I double check. So I have 1 plus 2 is 3, plus 2 is 5, plus 2 is 7, plus 2 is 9, plus 1 is 10, and 3 more is 13/4. And again, I'm going to go back and just double check my work. 1 plus 2 is 3, 5, 7, 9, 10, 13. Good, I'm good to go there. Now I'm going to add up my ones place, and again, I'm going to mark it off so I make sure I don't forget. 1 plus 1 is 2, 3, 5, 7, 10, 13. So I'm going to put a 3, and then I'm going to regroup into my tens place a 1. So I have 1 plus 2 is 3, 5, 7, 9, 11, 13, and 15. So 153 13/4. And again, I'm just going to double check my work. 1 plus 1 is 2, 3, 5, 7, 10, 13. Regrouped my 1. 1 plus 2 is 3, plus 2 more is 5. Plus 7, 9, 11, 13, and 15. Good. So now what I want to notice is I have 153 13/4. I need to notice that because my numerator here is greater than my denominator, I actually need to regroup. 13 can go in, divided by 4. Well, I know that 13 can go into 4 3 times. So 3 times 4, I'm going to subtract 12 and add those 3 whole into my whole number. So now I have 156, and 13 minus 1 leaves me with 1/4 left over. So this is the total amount of data points that I have on my chart now. And it says that I need the length to be 200 inches. So I'm going to take 200 and I'm going to subtract 156 1/4. Well, clearly I cannot subtract 1/4 without another fraction there, so I'm actually going to take and turn this 200 into 199, and now I have that 4/4 since I borrowed the 1 whole. 4/4 minus 1/4 leaves me with 3/4, and then 9 minus 6 is 3, 9 minus 5 is 4, and 1 minus 1 is nothing left. So I have 43 3/4 that I need to get between 2 data points. So now I'm going to go to my answer choices, and I need to figure out, well, which 2 numbers can add together to equal the difference that I just got of 43 3 fourths. So the first thing I always tell them is to figure out what two numbers you can get to add together to equal the fraction part. So we're going to look at our fractions first. So I have a numerator of 1, 1, 3, 1, and 1. And what I notice is that I cannot add two of these fractions together with the numerator to equal 3. However, one thing that I did notice about this, 1/2, is that it doesn't have that denominator of 4. So I'm going to go ahead and turn it into fourths by multiplying by 2. So that's going to become 2/4. Now I do know that I can add 2/4 to 1/4 and equal my 3/4. So I know I need this fraction for sure, and I need to figure out which other one I need. Well, I'm going to go ahead and eliminate 3/4 because I know that my other numerator needs to be 1 in order to get that 3. 2 plus 1/4 equals 3/4. So then I'm going to realize, okay, well I have this one, this one, this one left. Just put an arrow there to make them stand out. Well, I'm not really sure which one it's going to be, but I do know that A has to be one of them. So I need to figure out, well, if I had 43 and 21 whole is already accounted for, 3 minus 1 is 2, and 4 minus 2 is 2. So I know that that other missing fraction needs to be 22 and 1/4. This is 23, this is 21, and there is 22. Now I'm going to just check my work and make sure that they add together 21 and 1/4, or 2/4, plus 22 and 1/4. And again, I add my numerators. 2 plus 1 is 3. My denominator is going to stay the same, so 4th. And 1 plus 2 is 3. And 2 plus 2 is 4. So A and E are my are my two data points that will add together to give me that grand total of 200 inches.